Hi, my name's Rachel, and today we are once again asking the question, what the frick did I just read? Full transparency as usual. Both of these reviews were commissioned by the author, but that does not affect my thoughts on them at all. In fact, that's very specifically why people hire me. I guess I mean. Today we have two that I really think have an audience out there, and I'm looking forward to that audience finding these books. Like, I liked them, but I think that there are people out there who I know will love them. Let's start with one that I actually really want my husband to read, and that is Our Lady of the Artex by Andrew Gilsmith. Also, thank you to both these authors again for being so patient with me while I am so slow working through my commissions still, and have not turned back on. Maybe someday. So this book is like, if you take the parts of, if you take the am I human or nah parts of iRobot and mix it together with the politics and like belief, like conversations surrounding religious belief and faith, and the dude solving a mystery with the Catholic Church parts of the Da Vinci Code, and the sciencey parts of Project Hail Mary, you smash that very specific list of things together and you have this book. I'll read the synopsis. World leaders are on edge when reports start coming in of next generation androids having strange apocalyptic visions of a lady in white. But when an artifact belonging to the wealthiest man in Africa shows up at Our Lady of Nigeria Basilica claiming to be possessed, the stakes are raised. The Vatican sends Father Gabriel Serafian, Father Gabriel Serafian, an exorcist who left behind a brilliant career as a neuroscientist, to Benin City to investigate and to figure out who is behind what surely must be a hack. The timing couldn't be worse. Rome is on the verge of reconciliation with the Chinese Economic Interest Zone after a 50-year Cold War, and the Chinese are particularly sensitive about the so-called apparition. Serafian quickly finds himself caught up in a conspiracy of global and possibly supernatural dimensions. To discover the truth and not only save humanity but the artifacts themselves, Serafian enlists the aid of a tough-as-nails imperial praetor named Namono Mbambu. Serafian and Mbambu are helped by a guilt-racked Filipino emperor, a taciturn caliph, and an Uyghur Sufi named Ilham Tilwadi as they race against time to stop a centuries-old plot that could end humanity as we know it. I think the author did a really outstanding job here with several aspects. Regarding character work, I think that Serafian and Namono were so well done. I loved their the way that these are like two people that you would never put together, but then like they work together really well. Not romantically, like in a working relationship, right? Namono was so funny, which I was not expecting. I came to really love her humor. At one point, she's like worked with like several of these dudes because, you know, they're all dealing with how this is like a global issue, right? And she says, it seems I'm collecting holy men as partners these days. And at one point she has to go after somebody and they like comment on how, you know, they have a head start over her. And she says the head start is what makes it fair. I love her. I really could have read an entire series just about Mbambu, like her going out and doing some missions, just crossing the globe, like James Bond, but make it religious. She's religious James Bond woman. What? This book actually had a lot of parts that made me laugh. I highlighted a bunch. One was an old lady in Krakow once brought a coffee maker to him, claiming the spirit of her deceased husband was turning it off every time she left the kitchen. Evidently, he preferred tea. Another one was apocalyptic apparitions, possessions, and earthquakes. If I didn't know any better, I'd think it was the end of the world. I love religious humor. And then the other one that was so true. Not even God brings people together so effectively as good food. This is especially true of humans. And I think that in this book in general, it does a great job of asking and discussing the myriad of different perspectives of answers to questions like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have a soul? Who or what is God? I think it does all this with, as far as I know, being very respectful to all the religions that are brought up. They all work together. But again, that is as far as I know. Obviously, I grew up fundy. I hardly know anything about Catholicism in general, and what I was taught was incorrect. So I definitely don't know about a lot of religions outside of that. I'm still learning in my adulthood, but I think that it was done very respectfully. I loved how they all worked together and there was this like common problem. And I thought that it was not only like respectful, considerate in its like, you know, discussions of the different religions like working together, but also it did not feel at any point like this author was preaching any sort of like religious doctrine to me through the text, which is great. I really appreciate that. I still read books written by Christians. There's a big difference between a Christian author and a fundy Christian author, and I can tell the difference by what's in the text. So I think that even like atheists will have a good time with this, just like we do when we read stuff like I don't know, even atheists like Narnia, that kind of thing. I say we as if I'm not agnostic. Like, I don't really consider myself an atheist. I think that there's probably something out there. I don't know. This is a good book to have those questions, you know, and think about and ponder on. As far as discussions of faith and belief though, this did an excellent job. Quotes that I highlighted about this were, the safest place to find God was somewhere in between faith and doubt. I thought that that was really beautiful. And another one was, of course you are pleased with your work as he, capital He, was. All of creation is self-glory, a mirror that the creator fashions in order to see what he deems beautiful in himself. This reminded me of that conversation that one guy was trying to have about Brandon Sanderson, how Brandon Sanderson sees himself as a creator, as a god of his world. And I'm like, yes, but is that so bad? I thought that that was interesting that that was in here. Like, sure, we can be the gods of our creations. It doesn't necessarily mean that we think we're the gods like outside of that. Fascinating. There were also great discussions on like, what does it mean to be human? What does that mean as far as like how we feel things very particularly as humans? And there was this one quote that says, you have no idea what it's like to experience perfect love. Bound up in your wrinkly little flesh sacks, you feel a stirring in your sense organs and you call it love. But to exist in the presence of love itself, love as consummate reality with nothing mediating it. These discussions were made more powerful and unsettling because some of them came from possessed artificial intelligence, which is such a cool idea, and I love the exploration of that here. What does that mean if an artificial intelligence has belief, has a soul, and can be possessed? This book could have been 5 stars for me. The writing is really good. The issue with it was really my fault. It's the same issue I actually had with Project Hail Mary. I don't understand science. As soon as science starts getting explained, I no longer understand words. There's a thing called the Lucifer particles in this book. If you asked me to explain what they are, I could not begin to do that for you. It's exactly the issue I ran into with Project Hail Mary. There was too much of it in Project Hail Mary, and because there's only one character, I didn't really have anything to like stay with it, so I ended up DNFing that book 50% through. This was worth continuing because the character work is so good, the discussions are so good, and the science is not the main part, but it was enough that I'm like, oh my god, I wish I understood. It's not the book's fault, it's mine, but it does lessen my enjoyment. The only other issue I had was the AI, Terry, who becomes possessed. He disappears for a big chunk of the book, and I was disappointed by that. I really wanted to see more scenes of Terry so that I could understand even further the whole, or have like further conversations and further dive into that theme of what it means if an AI is human. Other than that, I don't have any issues. I think this was incredibly well written. I think it does great execution of themes. I think it set out what it did what it set out to do and did it well. I think it's a fantastic book, and I really want my husband to pick it up. So babe, if you're watching, please read this. I wish I had an audiobook because my husband predominantly reads audio. If somebody can make this into an audio, that would be great. All right, and the other one I want to talk about is Home to the Wild by Francesca McMahon. All right, so you know, like Tarzan and the Jungle Book, this is like that. It's a girl raised by wolves. But do you ever think about like maybe like what if in the Jungle Book Mowgli went back to the humans, but the humans were fucking terrible and he just wants to go back home to the wolves? That's this. Here's the synopsis. Little one has always been different. Her mother, Larka, leader of the pack, has always said it was because she was special, yet when her siblings grow stronger, faster, and wiser, little one fell behind and never caught up. It was her feelings that led her to believe there was something unnatural about her existence within the pack. She just couldn't understand what it was. It wasn't until danger landed at their feet because of little one's mere existence that she realized how wrong her mother had been about her. To save her family, little one must make a choice. Are they stronger with her, or are they better off without her? And as the threat grows closer, will she even get to make the choice? This ended up being a lot darker than I was anticipating, especially when she gets taken by the humans. It's pretty grim throughout, as I assume being raised by wolves would be, and the only joy comes from like the bonds you make within your pack. Later in the book, our main character, Little One, is held prisoner by humans who are like testing her because they're like, oh, the girl raised by wolves, and those people are creepy as fuck. Like, I was really unsettled reading that. Like, it was darker than I had anticipated. Like, you see this cover and you're like, aww, and then you're reading this and you're like, oh shit, this is unsettling. I thought that the exploration of like the psychological torment and like manipulation by the people the humans who were holding her captive and testing her was really good, like really well done. There ends up being another girl there at this testing facility, and they bond and they eventually escape, and that's like where the book ends. I think possibly it was hinting at them having like an early crush on each other. The main character, Little One, is really young. I don't know what age exactly, but this feels like, you know, first crush ever. You know, like think back to your first crush when you're you're like 9 years old, right? That it feels like that. I don't know if this was intentional though, so don't quote me on that. The problems with this book, I mean, like settings wise, it's really good. I felt like I was there in the cold running around with wolves and with little one. I think that interpersonal bonds is like where this book shines, right? The relationships that the author cultivated, and it's not a very long book, but they did make an impact. The emotional impact that they were intended to make, it hit. I think that the author did well with that. I think the author knows how to write complexity and deep bonds between two, not just people, because wolves are also involved. Problems though are that I really had to just like suspend my disbelief a lot. I don't understand how little one could possibly stay alive. She's eating raw uncooked food from like infancy, right? Like uncooked meat, so dead animals. No, like I don't understand. So I keep coming back to that. She has no fur, obviously she's not a real wolf, but she's like running around the snow. She doesn't have shoes, she doesn't have clothes. But especially the food thing is what I kept coming back to. I'm like, all I kept thinking about is my kids like gnawing on a piece of like raw, I don't know, raw meat. I brought up raw meat and suddenly my cat's over here. Ma'am, nobody summoned you. Don't touch the camera, please. So that was a little, I felt like that really needed to be like, that needed to, something needed to be done there to make me stop wondering like, how is she still alive? We also had a bit of pacing issues, so we would spend like a lot of time in certain sections that I felt like we didn't really need to go on and on about, and then others we sped through, especially deaths. I was like, wait, hold on, did they just die for real? And I was like shocked, and I felt like I wasn't really sitting with my emotions because we were speeding to the next thing so quickly. This has a lot of death actually, like a lot of wolves just so, you know, a lot more grim than you would think from the cover again. I still feel like it's worth a read, but especially for younger readers, I feel like this is a good book for like, I would even give this to like my 12-year-old niece if I thought her mom would let her read it. Like I think that this is fine for like 12-year-old and up. So that's my thoughts. I thought it was good. This is like a 2.75, almost a 3, and Our Lady of the Artex was a like 4.25. I think that was really well done. Let me know if you're interested in reading these or if you have similar recommendations down below. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to both of you for commissioning me, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, it's me, Trash Can Rachel, and I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Therapy Bills patrons, and those are Alexander, Allie Magpie, Amanda M, Ash, Ashley, Bubble Tea, Chris, Claire Thompson, Des Robert, DJ Krimmer, Emperor's New Blues, Eric, Ethel, Harley, Jack and Jill, John E, Casey McKenzie, Kate W, Kelly K, Quinn, Lex, Lula, Molly, Mrs. Kittybug, Alice, Peggy Lou, Witch Bitch, Rain, SJ, Scarlett, Samar, Shiny, SMK, and Zachary. Thank you all so much for being a friend. And before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Potato Search Marxist patrons. And those are AM Angel, Aiden, Alicia, Amanda B, Andy, Angelica, Anita, Artie the Ninth, Ashley H, Aubrey P, Ava, BB, Blythe, Bookish Barbie, Ray, Bree, Brenda, Bryn, Caitlin, Carlin, Cassandra, Catherine K, Kathy, Chris, CJ, Colleen, Courtney, Corwin, Corey, Darren, Deandra, Deborah, Diet Goth, Dorian, Dorothea, Ebby, Eden, Elise, Ember, Emily A, Emily L, Faith, Grace, Gracie, Hannah C, Hannah T, Harpy Kuro, Hello There Darlin, Ilianaka, India Inks, JM Tennant, JS on Olympus, JT, Jen with two, both of you have two N's in your name, Jen H, Jennifer T, Jenny, Jillian, Jules, Kaylee, Kat, Katya, KJ's, Keely, Kylie, L. Lindbergh, Laughing Cat Dog, Laura, Lauren B, Library of Scars, Lisa B, Liz Cardigan, Luna Moth, Lustful Octopus, Martin, Maddie, Marcella, Marquita, Maz, Malara, Meow Meow, Morgan R, James, Nat, Natalie, Never, Nicole G, Nicole R, Nicole T, Nikki, 9 Binary, Paige E, Paige P, Foxglove, Pixel Stars, Pure Raytheon, Quill, Rachel B, Raquel, Rat Sarah, Reba, Rebecca, Ren, Robin, Rowan, Other Rowan, Samantha, Sarah H, Sarah K, Sarah the Bear, Scarlett, Shanae, Shannon, Shayna, Sheena K, Sean, Sophia, Stephanie, Steven, Talia, 3 Old Dogs, Tiana, Trashcan Teddy, Sev, Valentine, Writer A, and Yesenia. Thank you all so much for being a friend.